South Florida cities are turning to public-private partnerships, you may be aware, to build projects they could not normally afford on their own. Today, we break down the most important ones and what they mean for local neighborhoods. Okay, so we're going to kind of just hop all over Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach County here to touch on some of these projects. Larry, I don't know if you've ever been to the Beckham Hotel in Miami Gardens, but this was an unsolicited proposal filed just last month for a hotel and parking garage. It's near Hard Rock Stadium.
You guys can see what the Beckham Hotel, Miami Gardens spec is supposed to look like, right? The takeaway for me from this is it's probably not just about, hey, we can't afford to build this on our own, but it's also about, hey, these guys that we're partnering with to do these projects do this at scale all the time. And so you have like real developers with real deep pockets that almost give you that security that this thing's actually going to get done. So the next one on the list here is the landing water taxi terminal in Fort Lauderdale. Which again, I think is pretty cool. I'm pretty pro this. Here's where it's supposed to be. It's a 21,589 square foot water taxi hub right there. The $10 million project calls for 8,600 square foot building and 4 levels that would include a ticketing and visitor center on the ground floor, a restaurant and bar on the 2nd and 3rd level, plus a rooftop event space. Miami-Dade Regional Multi-Sport Park, Doral, a 47-acre multi-sport park west of Trump National Doral, up to 7 tournament soccer fields, a field stadium, 8 pickleball courts, and 5 tennis courts. Padel X, the $280 million sports performance hub in Homestead, and the Fort Pickleball Complex in Fort Lauderdale, and Miami-Dade Regional Multi-Sport Park Complex near Doral. These guys have done this recently. And then you have Napster Studios. You and I have gone over this ad nauseum, but it's a 162,000 square foot film and content campus in Fort Lauderdale, which is really cool. It's built on a site that was designated a Superfund, a landfill, and is currently vacant. And they're supposed to bring in thousands of jobs and increase the area's economic output, et cetera, et cetera. And so this could be super interesting long term. And so the city basically said, hey, we'll give this land to you for free. Basically, they're leasing it to them for 50 years at $1 a year. Yeah. So again, just doing it, just
because they have to charge them something for it. Billionaire Ken Griffin seeking county approval for a 54-story, 1,000-foot office tower in Brickell. It would become Citadel's global headquarters and include a hotel, offices, and retail. Now, the site spans 4.72 acres along Brickell Bay Drive and Brickell Avenue. We keep talking about the past couple of weeks with the political shift that maybe we're getting more New Yorkers down here, so on and so forth. But that didn't mean we had to turn South Florida into New York.
Ken's from Chicago, so, and Ken left. That's where I think he had Citadel, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's correct.
Correct me if I'm wrong. But wow, he left Chicago, and he's, I think, rubbing it in their face a little bit. He's a big believer in South Florida.
That private marina he's doing down there.
Yeah.
And a private school, all kinds of stuff.
1.485 million square feet of office space, 212 hotel rooms, 24,000 square feet of retail, restaurant space. Wow. Yep. Wow. 1,420 space garage to the west. The FAA approved the height of 1,028 feet in July. Here we go. He's on his way. Miami-Dade County staff recommended approval and noted a voluntary $3 million contribution from the developer for the new crosswalk, traffic improvements, and stormwater. This project is, what was the total, what is the spec'd out? I don't think he gave a number on what he thinks he's going to spend. I think he thinks he's going to spend.
He probably doesn't even know.
Somebody interviewed him. I watched an interview. Hold on. I think it's going to be, I think somebody was suggesting it was $1 billion, and I think he was suggesting it was going to be $2 billion to do this thing. Here's something interesting too. Tallest office buildings in Florida, Panorama Tower, Aston Martin Residences is number 2, Four Seasons Hotel in Miami, Southeast Financial Center. All of them are the highest one is 869 feet, and we're talking over 1,000 right now. So he's going for it. Let's talk about this is kind of interesting. 12 South Florida development sites that are in bankruptcy or foreclosure. A dozen development sites across South Florida are now in foreclosure or bankruptcy. Rising costs, higher rates, and slower rent growth have pushed several projects to a standstill. So I know we just talked about these epic projects, but not everything is working in South Florida like it used to. That's for sure. We're seeing little cracks in the foundation here across South Florida. This is just the big examples, and I found this kind of interesting. Most cases remain active with no final outcomes yet. So kind of interesting. Let's see here. In August 2025, Florida's commercial property insurance market hit another breaking point. Premiums for office buildings, retails, and industrial properties surged 20 to 30% above national averages, fueled by repeat storms and high litigation costs. So we're still dealing with this insurance thing. I know I have.
That's not going away. Yeah.
Yeah, I've mentioned. I think there's a for the residential side of things. I think there's a little bit of a break on the horizon. Maybe a year from now, it seems like things are headed in the right direction, but for now, it's not perfect. Legacy Hotel and Residences at Miami World Center, that's a big project that's struggling. The lender filed $31.96 million foreclosure lawsuit in July. The borrower countersued. Construction is currently stalled. Magnolia Park was another one, $32 million foreclosure case, and that's on a 52.3 acre site. Tied to Don King.
I know. That's what I said. It's like you can't escape Don King.
Don King's getting this done. This is happening. This is one we've talked about. Main Street at Tuttle Royale, Royal Palm Beach. This was his big project. And there's Chapter 11 that was filed in September. So, well, this is what it's supposed to look like. This project is supposed to be awesome. It's supposed to really change that area. Nativo, Fort Lauderdale, if that's how you pronounce it. Another one, $22 million foreclosure lawsuit. 340 Biscayne Bay, which is supposed to be this epic building. They're filing Chapter 11 reorganization in December 2024. To stay a $70 million UCC auction. Miami is the scene for doing crazy weird stuff. 1515 Miami River, 7 at Lagoon, Miami. So there's a lot of construction projects we're starting to see stall out. And if you're not backed by a real guy or a real company that's doing this stuff, there's a chance that you get hit here too. Let's talk about billionaire Larry Ellison.
Yes,
buying Lion Country Safari for $30 million.
Why go on a safari when you could bring a safari to you?
The world's third richest person with a net worth hovering around $250 billion. He purchased the O Hotel, right? We talked about that a little ways back. He did a big renovation there. Now he just picked up this Lion Country Safari, which has traded hands for the first time in 58 years. I was really surprised when I saw this headline.
Family owned.
This is like wild. Yeah, family owned. It's in Loxahatchee, right off Southern, as you head towards towards Loxahatchee from West Palm. Yeah. As you head out west. Southern Boulevard right here. And this is Lion Country Safari, all built in. And so basically you kind of come in and then you drive this Lion Country Safari road, and there's just tons of safari animals.
Yeah.
It features herds of species from 6 continents, including zebras, rhinos, ostriches.
It's probably not going to be the Fort Lauderdale hotel that's going to be demolished for a luxury condo, which I know is not very specific, but apparently a longtime waterfront hotel and apartment building on Bayshore Drive could be replaced by a 13-story luxury condo tower. This plan adds new high-end housing, but raises questions about height, design, and neighborhood impact. Doesn't everything? The proposal, called Opus at 701, would replace the Manhattan Tower Hotel and the nearby apartment building at 632 and 701 Bayshore Drive. Because again, If there is property along the waterfront to be had in South Florida, a condo is coming for you. Can't tell you when, can't tell you how, but it is going to happen.
The developer CNB Contracting assembled the site for $19.5 million between 23 and 25. The tower is planned for 155 feet, requiring approvals and waivers from the Fort Lauderdale City Commission and Development Review Committee. This probably gets done.
A national study found home values dropped 0.6 to 1% for every decibel of added airplane noise. Now, homes exposed to frequent 60 decibel flights sell at a discount. Yeah, I can see that. Higher income households place more value on quiet neighborhoods, of course. The current housing market has more listings, slower sales, and more price cuts. Okay, so where are we going with this?
This is a common thing that we talk about as we're selling homes up and down the the eastern border of just like Palm Beach County, Broward County, Dade County, because there's a scattered number of airports throughout, right? There's obviously the big airports like Fort Lauderdale and West Palm Beach and Miami, and that's like pretty obvious from my perspective.
I don't think Palm Beach is that big, though. I mean,
yeah, it's not that big, but there's
I'll drive by it tomorrow. I mean, it's just not.
There's still enough like where it's like, okay, these planes are coming in right overhead, right, and or taking off above, and so like those are big boys. Like, but like the Boca Raton Airport is an example, or FXE, or the Pompano Airport. What we've seen a lot of is like when people are shopping for waterfront property in that like 1 to 2 million range, or just sub 1 million, right around there, which doesn't really exist so much anymore with a canal. You'd think Pompano would have on the east of Federal Highway where those canals are. You'd think Pompano would have this attraction and maybe higher quality homes all over the place there, maybe sooner than some of the other areas because of its proximity to the Hillsborough Inlet, as an example, right? And so it's close to the Hillsborough Inlet. Get out, fish, get out to the ocean really quick. Pretty nice, and it's a real inlet. It's a big inlet. It's one of the bigger inlets in the area. So you'd think that would drive up prices, but also when I'm running around there with clients, showing them homes there, and then maybe increasing their price to go to Boca or other areas, what's interesting is you hear the airplanes, not the big 747.
No, it's all private jets and stuff.
But you hear the prop planes.
Oh yeah, I do see those too.
They're at 400 feet. You know what I mean? Like they're coming in, they're doing their go arounds, and you're hearing this. They're coming up and down the beach and then cutting in, and so that's a thing. It's a thing. Like if you're a buyer and you're looking to buy stuff, sometimes you'll hear it because it'll be a busy traffic day, and then sometimes you might just miss it while you're running around there, and then you'll realize it after you buy the property, as an example, or during inspection when you're there again. It's not that it's like terrible, but it is a thing, and it is a bit of a nuisance, and it is probably higher than the 60 decibels, in my opinion, in certain areas in Pompano around that airport, without question.
A long stalled redevelopment near the Galleria Mall. Yeah, it's back with a much bigger plan. Now, if approved, this corner of Sunrise Boulevard will look very different over the next few years. New renderings and diagrams show an 8-story redesign for a Bayview Drive project in Fort Lauderdale. Now, the previous proposal this time around, it will increase from the previous one from 180 to 259 units. So a pretty substantial increase. The plan uses affordable housing rules to request 67 bonus market rate units. The site sits across from the Galleria Mall, which, as mentioned, is going through what will be a major transformation. They want to build 9. Yeah, you heard that right. 9 tall, 30-story apartment towers, shops, a hotel, and over 3,000 homes, which will actually include 1,200 affordable ones.
It looks like updated application, now branded The Residence at Bayview, consolidates the project into a single 8-story, 81-foot tall structure with a redesigned massing and new streetscape plan. Core details include 259 residential units. So that's more units, much more density, 12 affordable units. Okay. Qualifications for up to 72 market rate bonus units. Okay. A lot of details there. 566 parking spots. They just got a lot going on. Unit mix, studios, 1 bedrooms. They got restaurants, cafes, retail, outdoor dining, an amenity deck. The retail is going to be supported by a lot of new residents. So you just got this, like, I think it creates this vibrant lifestyle that's super walkable over there. So for me, I think it's going to, 5 years from now, your values will be boosted because of it.